Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome back to week 15.
It is week 15 of the Grow Club podcast with your boy Mike.
And your girl Jazz.
And for those who've been keeping track or tuning in every week, you may or may not have noticed. Actually, no. The video people wouldn't have noticed. So video is on YouTube. But audio listeners, I'm sorry. We're kind of like 2 days late.
Yeah.
But life.
It happens. We're still on track.
Yeah, we promise you guys
Week-wise.
will post every week. But yeah, we're late this week because life has been lifing. In good ways.
Yeah, I mean the sun's out, so we're just naturally getting a bit busier. Sun's out, so we're naturally getting a bit busier. Like we have more social plans, things are picking up again.
Yeah, true. Not to say we don't prioritize the pod, but
No,
yeah, it's just been a lot of work, and it was mainly. Yeah, no, I wouldn't even agree with that. It's not to do with the sun. It's more so logistics, which had nothing to do with the sun.
Okay.
Don't you think?
No, I think because when summer comes around, there's more things are opening. In winter, everyone's kind of like hibernating. I think more things are opening up in the summer. That's why I think there is a correlation between the sun and us being a bit busier.
Okay, so when we wanted to film on Sunday, was that because of the sun?
Yeah, because we had social plans because of it summer.
We didn't have the thing for the camera, Jazz.
That was another reason.
Yeah. Okay, so you probably have noticed that my shot/angle keeps coming in and out of focus, and unfortunately, that is the case for the rest of the podcast. So I'm here to just apologize that it might be a bit of a rough watch. If it's really annoying, obviously you can find us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts for the audio version. But if you are going to stick to the YouTube, I do apologize. At least Jazz's view is great, and but yeah, we'll sort it out for next week. And yeah, I hope you guys do enjoy the podcast. Guys, we are here. We're back, and we missed you guys.
We hope you missed us.
Yeah, fingers crossed we did. But yeah, we have a lot to chat about.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into it. How was last week you're in Ireland, or the week before that?
Yeah, I think it was the week before that.
Ireland.
Yeah, it was when the sun was starting to pick up.
Yeah. How was your time in Ireland?
Yeah, I was only there for a short amount of time. It was short and sweet. I really like going back now. Like when I was a kid, I didn't really like it.
Going back?
Like to see family.
I know.
Yeah. So
no, you can say back. You can say you're Irish. Well, at least one of us can.
At least one of us
I'm
can.
not allowed to,
No. I mean, I never like. Obviously, when you're a kid and you're going to a place where there's not much to do and it's not really fit for a kid, it can be a bit boring. Whereas now I appreciate the quietness and I appreciate the countryside. I appreciate the simpleness.
Yeah.
So when I go now, it's just like, oh. Actually, when I arrived the first night, I actually looked out at the sky and I was like, oh my God, I can see stars. Like, I was so excited.
You know what? I don't actually deep that.
You don't until you see it. That's what I mean. I was like, oh my God, I can see stars.
Yeah,
and then it made me realize how long I haven't been seeing stars for. Which sounds so like bizarre.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was nice. It was really nice. And you went skiing.
Yes, I did.
Mr. Skister.
I was literally trying to Mr. Skister. I was trying to think of someone like a celebrity, a professional skier, but I couldn't think of one.
Yeah.
But skiing was, if you haven't been skiing, go skiing. Skiing is like, it's just, I don't know. See, there's so many elements to it that I enjoyed. So I don't know if I've said on the pod before, but when I was a kid, I used to like skateboard and rollerblade and ice skate and just all those type of skating type stuff. So I was hoping that when I went, I'd have like a natural inkling to it, so I'd catch on to it quickly, which I did. So we're only out there for like 3 days, but like by the 3rd day, I was pretty confident skier.
But that worries me because I can't skate. I can't skateboard. My balance.
You cycle?
Yeah,
I've asked you that before. I've never seen you cycle a bike.
Yeah, no, I can, but it takes me like a little minute to like get going without my stabilizers. I'm joking.
No, but you honestly.
No, I can. Cycle, right? I can cycle. Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Do you have any videos?
No.
Can you ask your mom if you have any videos you cycle?
I don't have any videos.
No, but I need to know this.
But this
is a deal breaker for me.
No, I can cycle, but there's just no footage.
Okay. Suspicious.
But why did you ask if I can cycle?
No, because I just thought about it there. I've never seen you cycle.
Why would you?
in case you need to get somewhere.
I've never seen you cycle either.
That's because you said it'd give you the ick, no?
No. Only if you had like a little basket at the front, maybe.
With little tassels on the handlebars.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, yeah. Yeah, skiing was sick. Yeah, so by the third day I was pretty confident skier. And just in terms of like the views and like the landscape and just the fresh air and the snow and like you're going down the hill but like real scenery and like you're sliding down and the whole concept of like an après ski as well. So if you don't know what après ski is, it's basically like a party after you go skiing. So it's like 3 p.m. to like 5 p.m. or half 5. And you just like good music, good vibes, food.
That's the part I like about skiing.
Yeah.
It's the après bit.
What the after just the not skiing basically.
Yeah. Après-vous.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really it was a nice break. Obviously I went with some of the boys and it was good to like catch up because like we're just busy now, innit? So
it's good for networking though. It's like a rich sport, no?
yeah, unreal. That's what I'm saying. That's where I want to be going every year now. That's I'm already trying to plan it with you. Like we need to go skiing next year.
Yeah, look, as long as we book a place with a hot tub, then I'm there.
Yeah. Like, especially like those chalets. We didn't stay in the chalet or anything. We stayed in like a quite modest Airbnb. Did the job. But I'd love to experience this chalet. I actually met a guy over there who funny enough we were at this event and because so I didn't mention we went skiing in like France in it. So he we're chatting to this guy and I was like, oh, I'm from the Ivory Coast, and he's like, oh, tu parles français? And I was like, yeah, we just parle un petit peu, blah blah blah. And he was just saying he asked me where I was from. I was like, Côte d'Ivoire. And he was like, oh, I've been to Côte d'Ivoire. I was like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, I've actually been all over West Africa. And I was like, oh, interesting. Like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm in the mining industry. I was like, oh, in my head, I was like, oh, I've never like met a miner. And then he's like, and then kept talking, and he was just saying like how he owns a chalet out like where we were, so in the French Alps.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you must be like a top dog. And then essentially, he's like an owner of mines, and he's like taking minerals from my country and a lot of the countries out in West Africa.
Mr. Ethical.
Context as well. This is a white guy who can speak French and some other languages, and he said he's from London, and yeah, he owns mines in Africa, basically just sucking us of our resources. Pause.
Yeah, I know. Definitely questioning.
Yeah,
his
so
ethics
initially
there.
I was like, "Oh, what a cool guy," and I was like,
and you were like, "Wait a minute, who are you?
This colonizer? Who's this fella?"
You're like, "Wait, why were you in my country taking my minerals?"
Do you know what I mean? I'm
like what
I'm
you
here
doing?
shaking hands with him, and he's here laughing, and like he's obviously looking at me like, "Look at these suckers. They have no idea." Do you get me? So anyway,
Crazy.
It was interesting. Me. Yeah, it was very.
It's a bit of an odd meet.
Yeah, because I was like, oh. I don't think like obviously because I was there, I was like looking at it, I was like, oh, in my head I'm like,
was he an older guy?
I don't think I like that.
Was he?
He wasn't that. He was older than me. He would have been but not old. He would have been like late 40s, maybe early 50s. He wasn't that old, like.
Jeez.
So yeah, he was just saying that. I was like, you're one
yeah.
of them. You're the issue.
Yeah, he shouldn't really be telling everyone.
I know, right?
He should keep that
especially
to himself.
Because the event, there's so many black people there, but I don't know. It was very interesting. I've never met someone like one of those guys. I guess.
Yeah.
So interesting interaction. But yeah, the whole skiing experience was really good vibes, and we're gonna be going next year. So I've got work to do. We've got money to make.
I've got work to do. I've got to find my balance. I feel like I'm a newborn deer, you know how they're just like.
Why do you think you don't have like good balance?
I think it's
do your parents have good balance?
My mum does, my dad doesn't.
You guess you get your dad's balance.
Yeah. I think it's because I've got really like high arch feet. I think that's got something to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's because I think it affects like how I squat as well. So I think it's all down to your feet.
Fair enough.
And I think it's all down to like how you start walking as a kid as well, what shoes you're put in and everything. Everything's linked back to that. It's your feet. So yeah, and because I remember when I was younger, where wheelies were like super in.
Yeah.
I remember I begged my mum that we go down in the shop to get them. I remember we went down, I got them, and I remember we were in Tesco and I was going to try and like use them. I took the wheels out straight away.
Because you couldn't hack it.
I couldn't hack it. I was like, this is
You just had those cloggy shoes.
Yeah, I know. And I never
shoes.
really wore them because they were just cloggy.
Jokes. No, but
Yeah.
when we go, you're going to learn. Like, you have to, we can't, because
Mm.
that's why I haven't been able to go ice skating for like 2-3 years now, because you won't go with me.
Didn't realize it was such a thing that you were missing from your life.
Well, it's Christmas. Well, when it is Christmas, we need to partake in Christmas activities.
Yeah, one of our not our first dates, but one of our dates was skiing.
Yeah.
Not skiing, sorry. Ice skating. And Mike had a terrible time.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't say you had a terrible time. You got to hold me for the whole time.
Yeah, what a privilege.
But it was a waste of money.
Yeah, because like Jazz won't like let go of the wall, and like
I almost cried when you let me
enjoy
go.
skating, so it's like we're literally two opposite ends. Fair enough, if we were both trying to learn, it could be funny because we're like, oh, we're both slipping and stuff. But I want to skate, and like you won't let go of the wall.
I won't let go of you.
Yeah, fair.
I gotta learn. I gotta grow up.
Yeah, true. What you get up to today, anyway?
Just work. It's just been really, really busy. I feel like every time we check in on the pod, every day has been really busy with
You're back
work.
in the gym though.
I was about to say I've found my routine. It's funny because when I spoke to one of your friends at the gym the other day, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going? You usually come in the mornings?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting back into my routine." He was like, "You say that every time. Every time I see you, every month or so, you're like, I'm just getting back into a routine." And I was like, "Hey, we're not close like that.
We're not cool enough."
Yeah, but I was like, "No, that's fine." And I told you,
Yeah,
and you were like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hey, I'm trying," but no, I am back into my routine now. I'm back.
How do you feel now?
I feel so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing that was missing, because when your routine is off with the gym, you feel just everything falls off. Your nutrition falls off, and then I just feel like your productivity falls off. I just think when you're in the gym, you're feeling good, your endorphins are boosted, just good vibes, and you feel really accomplished. Like, especially because I've been going in the mornings and I've been waking up and you're still asleep, and that's really difficult.
Wait,
But
what time did you go?
I was up at like 7ish. I was at the gym like at 7:45.
Quarter, and then you were back at what time?
9:30.
9:30 is when you got back. Fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing cardio as well.
Yeah.
20-minute walk to the gym and back. So yeah, no, I'm really, really enjoying my new routine.
Speaking of gym, I trained twice today.
Oh yes, you did.
Alpha male I am.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about that?
I feel very protected.
Yes.
Mhm.
Twice a day.
One
after
No one
the
better
other.
try anything.
So I went from gym, did a quick chest and back day,
Mm-hmm.
to boxing. Manly.
Such a green flag.
So manly. But on the way back from the gym, I seen so on the way back from from the way back from, do you want to talk about you coming back from your session?
Yeah, so
describe it the way you described it to me this morning.
Yeah, so as soon as I came back from the gym, I went into Mike. I was like, I had a really confusing encounter. Not even an encounter, but I saw something I didn't like that really confused me.
Yeah.
On the way back from the gym, and near the cathedral, walking back, I saw this. You know, those like big goth metal boots that goths wear.
Yeah.
Okay, so I seen those first because they're hard to miss, and then obviously I'm looking
you
up.
Them guts, right?
Yeah.
That's like the
Now
associate, but
yeah, it hasn't been cancelled yet.
not yet.
Not yet. So anyway, I'm like, okay, I see those boots. Bear in mind, it's like just before 9:30 in the morning, and this girl is wearing like a nun's veil, like head veil, whatever. And I'm like, okay. And then the girl next to her, it has got this like black and white face paint on, looks very devilish, to the point where I couldn't even look directly at her because I was just like, this is way too like early in the this is too intense for the morning.
Yeah.
At like 9:30. And so then there's obviously people on their commute to work. So I'm like, I'm not the only one seeing this, right? So I try and like look at other people's reactions, and no one's like really batting an eye. I'm like, no way, I'm just seeing this.
Imagine.
Or just imagine. But yeah, I guess people are just used to seeing that. And then you come back from the gym.
Yeah, so on the way back from my boxing session, I seen basically what Jazz described, but like times 20 of them. So basically, they were lined up at the
One of the arenas.
at the arena close to us because I guess there was a concert. So that brings me now to later in the afternoon, I was getting my nails done.
Ooh.
So yeah, sounds crazy, isn't it? If you guys are wondering, I was getting my nails done, and the girl was like listening to some music. And but actually before then, I did mention like, is there something happening in the arena? Because she's kind of like that vibe, and she's saying, "Oh yeah, there's a band called Ghost playing there." And I was like, "Oh, that's a nice name." So then yeah, so a few minutes pass where I'm still getting my nails done, and then a song comes on, and she's like, "Oh, this is actually one of their songs." Now this song was like, it was as if, basically, even just from the vibe slash instrumental, I was like,
It
this
was
song
worship
is
music, but not the kind of worship music you want.
yeah, but no, yeah, but no. So yeah, but no.
Okay.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, yeah. Even just from the voice, it was very much so like you said, worship. But I'm like, this is a different type of worship, and I was like, oh, like what are they saying? And then she's like saying like, oh, it's Latin. I was like, okay, and she's like, yeah, it's very like their vibe is very like Satan-y. And I was like, okay. And I was like, let me see the lyrics. And then she shows me, and it's basically the first like verse. They're listing like all different names of Satan, and I'm like,
Crazy.
what is this like? And she's like, yeah, this is like kind of like what they sing about, and that's their vibe. And I'm like, and you guys just listen to it. And then her view of it was super innocent, of course. She's like, yeah, I just feel like it's very performative, and if you don't really believe in that stuff, and it can't really affect you, and it all depends on your intent. I was obviously asking her like, what do you think their intent with this music is?
It's a good question.
And then she's like, oh well, I don't really know. And then she's like, oh, I promise all the songs aren't like this. And then she goes to another song, and then one of the lyrics is like, in the darkness of your dreams, etc., etc. I'm like, bro, this music is mad. And I'm like, so to like 15 to 20,000 of you guys are all gonna gather and start singing all these names to Lucifer. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, bro, this is like crazy to me. But even like, well, no, honestly, when I seen the lyrics on Spotify, I'm like, this guy's worshiping Satan, like casually. And they started saying, like, I can't remember all the names. It was like Behemoth,
Baal,
Lucifer. No.
Maybe.
What?
Maybe.
That's not one of his names, though, is it?
I think it is.
The altar of Baal thing.
Yeah.
You ChatGPT it while I explain.
Okay.
Yeah, it had like Behemoth, Lucifer, Satan, etc., etc. I was just so like, there's people openly worshiping slash singing to Satan, and it's mad because she just thinks of it as like she just found it very performative, and I just found it super, super bizarre.
Yeah, it's a demon. Yeah.
Is it Lucifer?
It's a demonic figure, sometimes synonymous with Satan.
Okay, but anyway, those one of those words weren't there. But yeah, very bizarre.
Yeah. I find that so mad though, because that's like so obvious.
Yeah.
And like, it's not even like, for example, like I was saying earlier, in Hollywood, there's some artists that have like spells and stuff like that in their music, so you can't tell. Like, it's good music, so you're like, yeah, I'm vibing to it. You don't know like what's behind it.
Yeah.
But this is so obvious, and it's like, doesn't it make your soul feel a certain way?
Yeah, but only if your soul is like inclined.
Yeah, sure, but
You get me?
this is like obvious, like obvious. Like,
Yeah,
you
but
know that you shouldn't be.
they don't. They don't know though.
Yeah, but you know that, you know what good and bad. You know God is meant to be good and the devil is meant to be bad. I mean, that's kind of like, everyone knows good and evil.
Yeah.
So then if there's a song all dedicated to all the names of evil, that's just a bit mad to me.
But that's what I'm saying. I think
It's not hidden.
Who I was with earlier, the girl doing my nails, she kind of, what's the word? Exemplified what they all generally feel. It's just performative. Because you saying even like when they're singing their songs, like they have costumes, they have this, they have that, and for me, I'm like, that's even worse. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, I just feel like it's performative and this and
Because the
that.
costumes are like, what do you say? They're like priests and
Yeah, and just really.
they had upside down crucifixes.
Yeah, because we
and
googled.
the band.
Yeah, and we've seen the
Yeah.
masks, and
The
it's
masks
just
had like
it's
horns and
but like I said, it's like if you don't know, you don't know. Because I think for us, obviously looking in, we can
mm,
obviously be like, this is super demonic, and this is definitely has some spiritual implications.
mm,
Chilling with the not chilling with these guys, but like going to these type of concerts and stuff like
yeah.
that. But if you're in that, you don't know that. You see what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
even like now
Yeah.
with us getting closer to God and stuff, there's certain stuff that we may have found like a bit normal, but now when we look at it, it's like
I don't know. I just find that's really obvious though. Like
you liked yourself a bit of heavy
no
metal before,
no,
no?
no, it's never heavy metal. I liked
Okay.
rock and roll, which was like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, but that's not like
They didn't like skulls and stuff. They did the thing, no?
yeah, but that's
All
not
rock
like
stars did
Star of Date. Like that's not like the pentagram or it was
that.
none of.
It's still the devil's horns.
Is that what that means?
Are you being serious?
I didn't know.
No way.
No, seriously. No, I no, seriously.
You didn't know this was the devil.
No, I just thought it was rock and roll. What?
Are you being serious?
Yes.
You didn't know that was like the devil's
No, no, I didn't.
Where I don't even like doing it, but where do you see rock and roll in this? So one was rock, one is roll.
Like that's peace, and that could mean something else, and that's just rock and roll. Like, or you just see this all the time.
That's the devil's horns, my sister.
Nah, that's I didn't know that. Okay, you kind of proved the point that if you don't know.
Exactly. You don't know if you don't know. That is.
Oh my god, I'm gonna be like judging everyone's pictures now. I'm like, guys, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah. Have you seen the other one as well? I think it was Alicia Keys. She was like giving like a speech, like a thank you speech.
Well, I know there's that.
Yeah, that's the obvious one. That's
Illuminati.
Yeah, that's the obvious one. But there's some other. I think it's like that.
Oh yeah, that's
the behemoth thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And the behemoth's like the. Can you describe what that is?
Yeah, so it's like the goat. With obviously you got horns, and then you've got the pentagram around the chest, and then they're usually like sitting in like a yoga pose, and then they got the two fingers. So it would be the peace sign, but the fingers are close together.
Crazy.
Really weird. Ugh.
Gives me the heebie-jeebies.
You know?
But yeah, she did that in one of her.
Oh
thingies.
really?
Yeah, but it's like we'll see that, and then people are like, oh, it's probably edited or. Do you know, I like it's mad because it's like it's right and all of this is right in front.
But you know what's mad at? Because we've got a group chat, a girls only group chat in our building, and one of the girls was going past the arena, and she just puts a disclaimer or like a warning in the group chat, and she says, "By the way, girls, be careful because there's a show on at this arena, and there's a load of men outside just shouting and basically just harassing people." And I'm like, at this time, I was like, the show hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, it sounds bad, but it sounds like the guys that like we'd beat up in secondary school.
I don't know.
Not that I was a bully. I would definitely wasn't, but you know,
But it sounds like the guys you'd beat up in secondary
No,
school.
like not me, but like
I know what you mean.
not me in particular, but yeah, I don't know. It's definitely a weird. Like I couldn't imagine. Do you know what I feel bad for? You know those guys. You know, like the security guys at the concerts that are just there for being there
because they have to be there.
I can imagine there's like. Yeah, imagine there's guys and they're just like, what is this?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You know, like the ones in the actual venue, and they've got to listen to that shit, and they've got to be like
they're just doing crowd control, and they're just seeing people just doing the most.
I bet they'd have like
type stuff, and they're like, bro, get me out of here.
Oh, but have you seen like those types of mosh pits though?
Oh, like the rock when they're all beating each other. I don't know if they do that at this Bible.
Maybe I don't know. You've actually heard the music, so
yeah. No, this one is. Yeah,
you never know. People just beat each other up in the pit for anything.
Definitely not where I'd want to be. I can imagine there's definitely spirit, like you said earlier, like it's a spiritual rave for the demons there. Like,
yeah, because imagine you got like Christian concerts, worship concerts, and so on. This is like that, but the opposite.
Nuts.
Yeah.
But the annoying, not the annoying thing, but the sad thing is a lot of them just don't know that's what's going on. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm saying a lot of them. I feel like majority don't realize, hey, I'm worshiping Satan.
Okay. Well, then let's say that we got our church together and we went out in the streets of Manchester and we happened to come across the arena at the end of this show.
Yeah.
How many people do you think will be coming to Christ? Or do you think that us as the church trying to evangelize and preach, do you think would be met with rude comments? Do you think I don't think we'd be welcomed?
Well, obviously, no one's gonna want to give their life to Christ after a concert anyway, regardless of what type of concert.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, so I don't think that. I think there is some knowledge going in that this is not, obviously it's not godly. So it's like you can't go in blind.
Yeah, but they're also not thinking I'm dancing with demons and the devil.
No, they're leaning more towards that.
Yeah, no, true. But a lot of them don't think, like, cause for example, like I was saying about the nail lady.
Mm.
We say her name?
No.
Promo. Anyway, the nail lady. She just thinks a lot of it is performative. It's just that's what's scary. Do you get me? She's just like, oh, it's just what they do. It's just part of it.
Anyway, let's move on from.
Yeah, allow the but yeah,
it's nearly Easter.
No offense if you're a Ghost fan, but
no offense.
I hope you're not a Ghost fan.
Just don't go.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, you had an interesting fact earlier.
Fact.
Yeah.
What was the fact?
Or the timeline.
Oh, yeah. You mean Easter? Because it's coming up to Easter.
Go on.
So it was a year ago. Is that the facts? Yeah. So it was a year ago that we started going to church again.
Woo! Celebration.
I know. So yeah, it was actually, I think, a year ago this week.
It was a year?
Yeah, 1 year.
Crazy.
Kind of feels longer, but it kind of feels like it was just the other week as well.
It just feels longer for me.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been like 2-3 years.
Yeah, but that just shows that there was a lot of growth, though. I feel like there was more growth in the second half than the first half, in a way.
How so?
So we started going to church again this time last year. And so that was, for me, kind of new to faith-ish. Okay. It was coming back in just a different font, I guess, just in a different way. What?
No, listen, go on.
You're like,
I don't know what that means.
I mean, like, obviously it's not the. Obviously, you went to just like a different church. That's all. So it's just like a new font. So.
Is that TikTok lingo?
No.
Okay.
TikTok lingo.
I feel old because I'm like, what's that mean?
So if you don't understand that, is that TikTok lingo?
Yeah, because you've been saying a lot of TikTok lingo.
Like what?
Like the
God forbid I'd have new lingo. Yeah, because that's actually funny.
Yeah.
God forbid a girl has a hobby.
Yeah.
God forbid a girl has faith. Anyway, so yeah, what was I saying? Yes, obviously, like I was getting into like learning more about the Bible this time last year, like starting my journey.
Yeah.
And so then if you compare like the first half to now, there's just been way more growth. Like I'm
Do you think there's anything that spurred that on? Like, why do you think there was more growth the second half than like the first 6 months than the last 6 versus the first 6?
I don't know. I think
was there a turning point? Was there
not that I can remember. I just think obviously the more you're learning, it's like the more you're exposed to something, kind of the more obsessed you get with it, and so you want to dive deeper and deeper and deeper. So obviously, with me not knowing too much at the beginning, there wasn't too much for me to dive into.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
So I think that's all it was. It was me diving in more and more and more. I'm learning, and I'm like, right, what more can I do now?
Okay. And on that, then, how much do you think you've changed?
Yeah, I'm
Actually, no. So without, let me ask it in a different way.
Okay.
Not how much, because it's probably impossible to quantify.
No, I was going to say.
Let's just say how. So maybe like, what's one thing that you used to do and then that you definitely don't do now? So that can be personality-wise or habits or ways you think or...
The way I think now, I'm trying to align myself more with God.
Okay, what's that look like?
So that means, I'm trying not that I was a big swearer before, of course not. Like I never had like a bad mouth, but obviously I'm trying to watch, for example, if you're around certain people who swear more, that naturally that's just going to come out in my experience anyway.
Maybe that's why I swear more.
Hey, that was a very cheap shot.
I'm kidding.
So yeah, there is that, but like I said, I was never someone who did that a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not really something that's difficult, but I'm a lot more aware of it now. In terms of just like whatever isn't Christ-like, I pull away from more.
Interesting.
So
Is that like what's the word I'm looking for? Is that consciously, or you just realized, oh, I don't really,
a line.
not even a line, but I don't. It's the feeling I'm looking for. A feeling word.
Yeah, you just feel a bit uneasy.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just feel better if I know that I'm doing what I should be doing, because if I don't do that, I might feel a bit uneasy.
Mm.
So it's like knowing that you're doing the right thing.
So like discernment.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, so I'd say that. Because if there's something that I'm hearing and it's ungodly, or if someone is saying something and that's not coming from, and I know I'm guilty of this too, but saying something that's not coming from faith, I pull it up. I'm like, no, don't be doing that. Or if I see someone who is mixing with, I don't know, crystals or something like that, I'm like, hey, don't be doing that, because I didn't know this, but this isn't good.
Mm.
And you probably don't know that either. So just let me educate you a little bit on that.
Mm.
So I'm a bit more, I'm like, my eyes are a bit
Speak
more
on it
open.
then. Why go with crystals?
Or just like crystals and manifestation in general. Like like I said, I was very like, well, I'm not going to say very, I was never a crystal person. I never saw the point in it, but I know people who swore by it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe there's some truth to it. So there was that, and obviously manifestation by reading the book The Secret and thinking that, if everything is a frequency, everything has energy. And so you basically just need to think about something, or there's like the water method, where if you're putting all your bad thoughts in, that's in one glass of water, throwing it out and only putting like your good thoughts in one water, for example. There's like many ways of trying to manifest, and it's all through your own doing. Like I create my own reality. Like, and the thing is that a lot of it is taken from the Bible anyway, because a lot of it would be like, you create the tongue is very powerful, so be careful what you're saying. So you'll find a lot of these people are very positive and they don't speak any negativity, but that all comes from the Bible anyway. It's twisted, and it all comes from.
Why is that like wrong then?
It's wrong because it's not going to the source, and you're thinking you are the source. So that's why it's wrong. It's thinking I manifested this, I am the creator of this, I'm responsible for this, rather than thinking you only have those things because you were given them, and you're a steward of those things. So now I realize a lot of stuff is taken from the Bible, but it is twisted. For example, even astrology, a lot of it is taken from the Bible. It's just not right. And so I'm a lot more open to it now. Even back years ago, I'd be looking at my horoscope. Okay, what am I expecting this month, Leo? And because everyone,
I always hated that rubbish.
no, I mean, it was never like completely accurate, but I know people who were like so into it, and it became like your personality.
Yeah.
And it's just, look, when you don't know, you don't know. And also, it's just so common in the Western world. So common, like
I think witchcraft is normalized in the West.
So I was in TK Maxx a few months ago, and I'm looking in the book section, and I see a book on spells.
That's not in TK Maxx.
TK Maxx.
That's what?
Like it had the pentagram on it and everything. I took a picture and showed. I saw, and then when I found.
Did you open it by any chance?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
But I picked it up to read it, but to see the cover.
Yeah.
Put it back. I think I tucked it away actually, and then I was seeing if there was any more, and there was one more. I was like, a kid is going to see this and think, because obviously they watch shows and a lot of things are put into, shows, like, for example, like mermaids and sirens and things like that. All of that is like kid stuff.
Yeah.
Or even like there's TV programs based on witches. So a kid might see that and go, oh, a witch. Not thinking.
Or even just a normal age
Or just even a normal age person thinking, oh, yeah, my spirit guide has led me here.
That's nuts.
Yeah. But that's just like something you become more open to,
Aware of. I think is
aware
what you're
of.
looking for,
Yeah, it's something you become more aware of, and you're like, wow, it's everywhere,
yeah.
everywhere. Even people who are looking at like 11/11 and wishing on that. Like I used to do that all the time.
So, were you aware of like witchcraft and stuff before?
No, I thought that was fake
Okay, at what
movies.
point were you like, oh crap?
Uh,
Did you have like an oh dear moment?
no, because I was never like guilty of that.
No, no, obviously not. But I mean, like, oh, this is actually
Yeah, after talking to
witchcraft.
you,
Oh, me?
yeah,
Oh,
because you were like, oh yeah, no, it's a big thing in Africa, and I was like, oh, tell me more, and you were like, I don't know enough about it. You're gonna have to talk to, mum and things
yeah.
like that, and people like that, and I was like, okay, I will. So I did, and now I'm learning about new stuff. I'm watching podcasts on it. And I'm like, wow, this is so interesting. I'm learning about a world that I never knew about. And then I'm telling you stories. I'm like, this witch did this, this, and this. And you're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, this is crazy. And one thing you said to me as well, which like kind of shook me, you were like, you could be walking down the street and talk to a witch, and like, you're not going to think anything of it because they're just like you. They're normal people ish. Like, then they don't look a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, that is crazy. I was like, really? Like, come on. That's just fake now.
Yeah, it's funny when you're not like, I guess, I don't know. I think even more recently now, even on the topic like how have we changed, I'm very like, I wouldn't say more open minded because I've been quite open minded to stuff, at least in my latter stages of my life. But like there's certain stuff we hear, especially like with the podcasts we listen to, and it's like, that's so far fetched.
So far fetched.
But it's like, it's also true.
Yeah.
Which is nuts.
Crazy.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess like coming back to faith and obviously getting closer to God, you do understand how real and alive the spiritual side of life is. And how life is mainly spirit, like what I'd like to probably say is like 90% spiritual, 10% physical.
It's just you're
You see what I'm
not.
trying to say?
Yeah, there's just you're not allowed to see a lot of it unless you're that way in tune, or if you ask God to show you.
Yeah.
I just think that's crazy, terrifying. I'm glad I don't see it.
Really?
I don't.
I want to see it.
Really? Or don't say that. You're gonna have some crazy dreams tonight.
So
That's crazy because apparently,
God
like
forbid, don't tell me about
someone
crazy
said, if you really knew what was in the spirit world, you'd never stop praying.
I'm down to never stop praying.
No, but I mean all day. Are you willing to pray for 3 hours straight?
Why not?
All right, then.
It's something you build up to anyway. A lot of people, like my mom, probably does that easy. Do you get me?
Yeah,
It's not.
definitely. And what about you though?
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like like I'm saying, it's something you build up to. And I've noticed now, me getting closer to God, there's a lot of stuff that I would have been shook of that I don't feel myself being scared of anymore. Especially when it comes to the spiritual world and this and that. Because I know the God I serve, and obviously God dwells within us, and the strength and power we have as Christians, as being the follower of Christ. I'm like, a lot of that stuff isn't. I see what you're saying in terms of like, geez, like you don't want to see that, and that's scary. But what will happen? You see what I'm trying
No,
to say?
I get that. It's just the initial shock. That's all. Like that's all. I don't want to see that. Like I believe it's there. You keep away.
Like, gave you that gift to see these things.
Then he did, but so far,
You'd rather not.
Give me something else, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've had like a crazy dream once when I told you about, and I couldn't sleep for a while after that. That's just a dream, like.
Which one, without saying it?
The one I had in Ireland, and I called you about it the next day.
Yeah.
About you.
About me?
It was about you.
Give me another clue.
What one do you think I'm on about?
I was thinking about the one. I don't know if you're in Ireland for the dream, but the dream was in Ireland.
Yeah, I was in Ireland for that one.
Yeah, but it had nothing to do with me. The one I'm thinking of.
You were in it. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, moving
on. I can't remember my point now, but yeah, crazy. I don't want to see that stuff.
Yeah. But I've how have I changed in the last year? Um, I feel like all I talk about is faith and having faith. Well, literally that. Like I'm a lot peace.
Mm.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the word. I have a certain peace now that is a Bible scripture that says peace that surpasses all understanding. Something like that.
It's something like that. I think
Someone, if you're listening,
I
please.
can have a look.
Yeah, yeah. So I think, yeah, there's a certain peace that I feel, and it's mainly down to the. What am I trying to say? I feel like yeah, faith is like a muscle, right? And I've had so many instances where that muscle has been tried and tested to a point where it's like it's super, super strong now. So now the peace that I feel, not because of how strong my faith is like second to none. I don't stress about things anymore. At least not in the not an
This.
extreme in not an extreme sense. I mean, obviously I stress about little things here and there and stuff like that.
Mm.
But I have this peace that like God will provide, God sustains, and He's there. So I really don't stress about stuff. And outside of the peace as well, I guess, because at least recently as well, we've been fasting a lot more and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I do feel like my spiritual side is a lot more stronger for it.
I agree.
And I'm starting to discern when God is speaking versus when it's my thoughts. Because obviously that's like a big thing, especially when you start to learn about the Holy Spirit and stuff like that. It's like, is it my thoughts or is it the Holy Spirit speaking? And
Mm.
I've learned that every time like every time I fast and basically, to not deny my flesh, try and strengthen my spirit, read the Bible, etc. When I do hear from God, I feel it and I know. And I
Mm.
think the way I'm starting to know when it's him is that when I feel a bit of pushback.
Mm.
Because a lot of the times, not all the time, but some of the times I'll hear something and I'm like, I'm not trying to do that.
Do you have an example?
Oh, thank you, co-host. I do actually. So yeah, so the example I was gonna bring up. So today is what? When
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
This was yesterday. I think you're going
Monday.
to talk about
So
yesterday.
yes, no, it's Monday. Oh,
Yes.
Tuesday. Sorry, yeah, yeah. Mondays before Tuesday. Awkward. Yeah. So yesterday, I was actually I was fasting yesterday. I can say I was fasting yesterday because obviously I'm just praying for direction and stuff. In terms of like where the business is going and obviously just trying to connect with God and align myself with God. So we can say I was very spiritually heightened, sensitive. I think
Yeah.
that's a good
Yeah.
word for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So I was going somewhere to pick up a lens for one of the cameras that I'm actually using here. And on the way there, I seen a guy sat on a bench. He looked normal enough. He just had like a bit of a rucksack and like a skateboard. And I felt like something was telling me to go and chat to him. But I was like, you know what? Like, no, I'm good. So I
Mm.
continued going to where I was going. When I got there to where I was going, I grabbed the lens, and then on the way back, I just before I crossed the road, I seen him again, and he was there, and I felt that voice slash feeling saying, "Yo, go chat to him." Like,
Mm-hmm.
so now, I've gotten across the road, and I'm walking past, and I go, "Yo, are you all right?" And he goes, "Yeah," and I go, "You look stressed," and then he's like, yeah, I've been sleeping rough for the last 8 days. So he's been homeless for 8 days. And obviously that's when I was like, oh, like what happened? Like, and he was saying, basically he was living with his girlfriend. He got kicked out, and yeah, he's just kind of been out and about for the last 8 days. And I was like, do you know have family or what's the story? And he's just saying like he's a refugee. He came over from El Salvador. He said he left El Salvador because obviously there's a lot of gangs, and he was just trying
Mm.
to get out of that. And obviously, yeah, just make a living for himself in the UK. So then we were just chatting back and forth. I was just trying to get a bit more info out of him, just kind of suss him out and see what's up with him. And then we got to a point where, um, yeah, I think even like halfway through the talk, I was getting that feeling that said like you need to pray for him. And like I've never prayed for someone like on the street like that. I've never done that.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I'm like, allow this. I'm not trying to be praying praying for the guy. But the reason why, um actually not, let me backtrack. So maybe like 2 weeks before that, I have another, yeah, I'll call him my friend. Why not? I've got a friend who sells stuff on one of the streets, and he's been through a lot. And every time I see him selling stuff, I go over and chat to him, like get updates on how things are going. And yeah, because he has a very interesting story, and I've taken a liking to the guy. So I was chatting to him again. Obviously, he's telling me this has happened. I've got kicked out here. Blah blah blah. It's just his life story. I'm just giving him words of encouragement, and I had that feeling that said pray for him. But that time I didn't, and when I didn't, I felt like, oh, like I was meant to. So in a sense, like I disobeyed God, and I kind of felt bad for it, and I felt like maybe he might have missed out on something because I didn't follow through. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So then fast forward to yesterday now when that happened again, I couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
And then so I kind of like eased into the like, because I eased into it, right? Because basically I kind of asked him like, do you feel like this is happening for a reason? Like you being out in the street, out in the street, but you being homeless right now, etc. And he's saying, yeah, like I feel like I've been taking the piss and etc. and this type of stuff. And then I kind of asked him like, do you believe in God? And he's like, yeah. I was like, he's like, yeah, I was raised a Catholic, and because obviously El Salvador, South America is like Catholic heavy in it.
Yeah.
I was raised a Catholic, etc. And I asked him like, do you pray? And he's like, I used to pray. I don't really anymore. And I asked him like, do you not pray because you're scared you'll get disappointed that it doesn't get answered? And he said not necessarily, but he feels like he's not connected to God. And then when he said that, I said, I hear what you're saying. You may not feel connected to God, but God is always connected to you. He's waiting for you, and he wants you to come back to him. And when I said that, I was like, by the way, I'm not like gonna pick you up and drag you to church. By the way, I'm speaking like this because this is my reality. Like a lot of the stuff I do now, where I am now, I owe it all to God. So it just comes out in conversation. And then essentially I asked him like, have you ever had anyone pray for you? And he was like, yeah, I've had some people, a few years back and this and that. And I was like, do you mind if I do? I was like, and then when I said that, I was like, oh my God.
Here it goes.
I'm going to have to pray for him right now. Literally in the middle of town as well. Like I was like, oh dear, I'm going to have to do it now. And then he was like, yeah, sure. And he's about to like, because bare context as well, he's like sat on the bench and I'm like kind of stood over him. So he's about to like take off his bag and stand up. I was like, no, like chill out, like just give me your hand. And then I just kind of prayed for him, and then I went to the shop to grab him some bits as well. Because I was about to leave, I was like, oh, let me get him some stuff. And then on the way back from the shop, I see him like skating and stuff. So like his mood completely went from like him just looking really upset on the couch to him like doing tricks on his skateboard and stuff like that. I was like, oh, very good. At least your mood's been boosted somehow. And then just walked away from that. I was like, yo, God bless. And if we cross, because he didn't have a phone or anything, so I was like, look, if it's God's will, when we cross paths again in the future. So then I did that, and then I came home. I was just like, I can't believe I did that.
Mad.
But I don't want to like, I want to be in the position where I'm now hearing God and then obeying God, because I don't want to be, you know what I mean, disobeying.
It's a nerve-wracking thing though, because like there's been times where I've done that too. I'm like, oh, so I've tried putting it off, like you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I don't really want to do. Who am I to do that? I'm a newbie, like, and I don't know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna probably sound stupid.
Yeah.
But then I get what you're saying. It's that feeling like, no, you have to do it. It's like, I haven't got a choice. So I can keep delaying it if I want, but I'm going to have to do it.
Yeah.
And so you were even delaying it a little bit as well, weren't you? Because you took the long way around and he was still there.
Yeah.
And
do you know what's funny as well? Even when I took the long way around, I paused that like in front of like a hotel for a bit because I rang you. But even like me standing in front of the hotel, I felt like I was meant to stay there for a bit. I don't even know why.
yeah.
Like God knows why. But then obviously I went back and I was just like, yo. And he's like, he was my age as well, and I really felt for him as well. Felt for him, crazy. I really felt for him. But yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you compare that to like a year ago, I'd never do that.
I think that comes from fasting though. I think the more you fast, obviously the more sensitive you are. And something that I've noticed about you is that obviously you've fasted in the past with your mum and you know, you've fasted before.
Yeah.
But you've only fasted twice with intention. So as far as I know, because I've noticed big differences in you in the times that you fasted. So, and bear in mind, like I've known each other for a while now, but I've noticed the big differences from when you fasted. So I think that.
What do you mean when you say you notice the big differences? What are you saying?
So compared how you were before you fasted compared to after, you're just definitely a lot closer. You're more sensitive. I just noticed that change.
Really?
Yeah.
Like I'm acting different.
Yeah.
Go
Like
on. Describe it.
not
So
like not necessarily like acting different, but your whole like just a man of God. Like you wouldn't be praying for people like that. Obviously you'd be a Christian, but you're not going to be praying for people.
Yeah.
And then in terms of just like reading your Bible more, like you'd do Bible study a few times a month. I'm like, oh, that's nice, you got your Bible out. But now you're doing it like every morning. And
sometimes twice a day.
Sometimes twice a day. Like and that's one thing that I've noticed when I've fasted is that you just become more obsessed and you just want to spend more time. You learn more. And that's what you've done.
It's crazy.
Yeah, but you don't realize it. After the fast, you're like, oh, well, yeah, I've prayed for direction. I'm still not sure yet. And then a few weeks go by, you're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What's happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just realize that you've shifted.
Yeah.
It's like you've gone up a level.
Yeah. And I think it's funny, right? Because my mom always like leaves me like these little clues. Because obviously my mom and God are like this, right? So I feel like she has. She basically always says like God has a special plan for you type of thing. But she's being very specific without being. She's being vague while being specific.
It's like she knows, but she's not allowed to tell you.
Yeah, so she's like, she's not shocked when I say this stuff to her because she's like, don't worry, Mike, it's like God's calling you type thing. I'm like, what's going on here?
You know when I told her about my dream, she was just like, I thought she was going to be like, oh, she was just like, oh, yeah, well,
you want to share that?
No.
Okay.
No.
But yeah.
I think the scripture you're looking for, by the way, about about peace, is then you will experience God's.
What chapter, man?
You want me to tell you that first?
Obviously.
Okay.
Because who knows where you're pulling out of?
No, but I was just going to tell you the scripture that you are probably referring to. I don't know if it is until I tell you.
Tell us the book and the chapter.
Okay, it's the one I can never pronounce. Philippians 4.
Perfect.
Verse 7.
Yeah, easy.
Okay, Mike.
Say it again for good luck.
No, then no, Mike.
Philippians.
Let me read it.
For good luck, say it.
For good luck.
Just say it again.
Philippians.
You can say it.
I know I can say it. I don't need to say it twice.
You said you couldn't say it.
No, I said that before I even said it the first time.
Sorry for me trying to reaffirm you.
I'm just trying to read the scripture. Thank you. Okay, do you want to hear it?
Please.
Philippians 4, guys, verse 7.
Came out wrong again.
Right. Then you will experience God's peace, which exceeds anything we can understand. His peace will guard your hearts and mind as you live in Christ Jesus. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, what was it? 4:7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely the word peace. Would you say you're happier now?
I'd say I'm more peaceful.
Answer the question though.
I don't know. I think happiness varies like, it varies. I don't think you can all round.
So does peace.
No, I think that's more of an inner feeling.
Go on.
I think happiness is more surface and peace is more within.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I can't say if I'm happier now or if I was happier last year.
Yeah, good point.
So I think that's just surface level and it changes. Like, for example, if you tell me right now we're gonna catch a flight to Paris, business class, whatever, I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, if you say, oh, by the way, we're you gotta sleep outside tonight for some reason, I'm not gonna tell you why, I'll be like, I'm not really that happy about that. It's just surface level, like it just dips. Peace is more within.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good answer though.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
What about you though?
Am I? No, I think I use the same answer as you. But no, but at the same time, I would say yeah. Facts. I think. Actually, yeah, I'm trying to switch from my think to I believe. I believe is more profound. I believe there's like I'm going back to the word peace, but I think when you're aligned with like God and the plan He has for you, there's like a peace / happiness you have. Cause
the Jesus glow. You heard of the Jesus glow?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Sorry to say, I was gonna say something. I think when you have peace, it gives you the space to be happy. I think when you don't have the peace, you're a lot more anxious about life. What could be happening? This thing could be popping up, that could pop up, and you're just not. You don't allow yourself to be happy because you feel like if you are happy, there's just gonna be a big come down.
Yeah.
So I think now that I've had that foundation of peace, I can allow myself to be happy and sit in that happiness without me feeling like, oh, this could be all wiped away or whatever. But even still, it's like everything's like God's plan now. And I think it's like a really beautiful place to be.
It is.
In God's presence.
Man of God. I said it.
That sounds crazy. Yeah.
Look at you though.
I don't know. It's yeah. I feel like I say this every pod, but it's crazy. I don't know how we ended up here.
No.
Crazy.
Yeah. Growth. The growth club.
And on that note.
Anything you want to add before we close?
Jesus loves you guys.
God bless, guys.
Yeah, so that was today's episode.
Yes.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. Another short, snappy one. But yeah, if we can leave you with anything, just remember Jesus loves you and He's waiting for you to come back to Him. He's there, open arms, ready for you.
Yeah. Love
definitely
that.
a Christian pod.
Definitely. Oh, someone made a comment which was hilarious, saying, "Oh, I clicked onto you guys' podcast for the Irish guy. It was a guy. The Irish accent. By the way, it was a guy who said this.
That was a girl.
No.
Really?
No, I came for the Irish accent. I stayed because you snuck or
You
sneaked.
you snuck Christian content into it.
Yeah. And I was like, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Sneaky.
But yeah, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes,
if you listen on
please.
audio, please rate the podcast. We need the ratings. And yeah, share it with anyone who's interested in business or faith, because we are a couple building our faith and building our businesses
And
simultaneously.
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to say before you depart?
No, that's it. Have a good night, guys. Well, have a good day wherever you are. God bless, and we'll catch you next time.
Peace.
Bye.